Everybody, it's Teepa. Good morning, or whatever time it is when you're watching this. So, this is a question that came in, and it's in regard to a person who is supporting a gentleman who's living with dementia, and it's vascular dementia, they think, with possibly some Alzheimer's as well. And the challenge is he's also living with and giving information, the father is, um, with his wife, and his wife has concerns and issues as well. And so he's being unpleasant to his wife. There are things going on that aren't nice. He's having blow ups and expressions of distress and difficulty communicating. And so that's happening, and everybody acknowledges that is happening. However, there's this difference between one family member and another about how to cope or deal with that, what to do about that. And that's not uncommon, especially in vascular dementia, where one person may be closer to the situation than the other one, or differently involved, or there's a history, which it always is in families. And so here was the question. Let me just sort of pull up the question so I get it accurate. And the question is, should you be having conversations with the person who's living with dementia about the way they're acting? So, for instance, in this case, a sister is visiting from out of town, and she doesn't like the way the person living with dementia is treating the spouse, or her for that matter, and decides to let him know through a conversation. And so she was curious, like, what's the story about that? Is there something you can do? And my answer is, it's not if you should talk about it, it's how you talk about it. So there's this thing we do, which is called, whoa, wow, Dad, um, that hurt. Now, notice there's a very specific formula or pattern to this, or recipe. So the first is, I take the hit. Boom. I heard something, I saw something, I experienced something. And I acknowledge it with a wow or a whoa, an exclamation that allows me to pause, literally pause and breathe. Whoa. And the breath I need to have is out, because all of a sudden I was like, what? What did you say? That sort of shock and awe, that feeling of disrespect that happened. Something he said or did not sit well with me. So rather than immediately going, Dad, that's not nice, don't do that, which is might have been historically what my dad might have done with me when I was a kid. The difference is, this is not a kid, this is a full grown adult who's challenged by living with brain change. So something that happened for him, and he already did the out. Us doing it back just tends to escalate the situation. So there's no point in it. I mean, you can do it, it just doesn't have a lot of value in a positive direction. So instead, I said, wow, ow, Dad, that hurt. So I acknowledge the hit. I might say, wow, so you didn't like what I did, or you don't like when I do that, or wow, that, that, huh, okay, so you're really angry with me. So then I take a breath, wow, I pause, and I do a reflection. I acknowledge the message that I think I got, but it's still question. So, wow, that hurt. And I show it hurt. Now, I'm not like, ow, that really hurt, because that's sort of over the top. I mean, I'm not going there unless for some reason I feel like I need to, but instead I'm acknowledging this information. So at that point, my next thing is going to be, okay, so let's see where it goes. If he says, well, you're bothering me, I'll go, I'm bothering you. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. The question is, can your mom, can your sister learn these new skills? Are they willing to? Or might you be willing to demonstrate them and see what happens? Because until we see a different outcome, we may not value actually trying something a little different. So that's sort of the basics. Now, if you want more than that, we can. I'm not saying don't address it, but I'm saying don't address it the way you would have. Don't try to use words and logic and explanations, and don't try to get somebody to behave differently. Behave differently yourself. And then notice what happens, because that's step one. And it will require participation and evaluation and deciding to keep something or switch out and try something different and then get prepared and try it again. And it could be that you'll never get your sister to do it. Maybe mom's not capable of doing it. But sometimes, if there's one person in the system that's willing to step up and try something different, that relationship that you're building might actually be the one that brings the temperature down all around. It might be you need to go to a different place with different people doing different things with different props. It could be there are other possibilities. But for right now, I tend to use my pipes and my pauses when something is happening that isn't very pleasant. The resources are available to you. We'll make sure that they're linked in here. So they're just a card with information on it. And we do have little video clips that we could make more available if that is something that's desired. Tell you what, comment, let us know you'd like to see something else, and we'll make sure that we do link it in and put it up. If not, hopefully this responds to the question you asked. Till next time, take care with your care, take care of yourselves, and take care of those around you by going, huh, that's interesting. Till next time, everybody, be well.